Cape Cod Broadcasting weaves the listening environments of 99.9 WQRC, Ocean 104.7, WFCC Classical 107.5, Cape Country 104, and CapeCon.com's website experience to reflect the lifestyles of the people who live, work, and play on Cape Cod. We hope that you enjoy this podcast.
I'm Justin Saunders, and this is Sunday Journal. I'm here in the studio with Ann Colwell, the new Chief Executive Officer for Cape Cod Child Development, and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Justin. It's nice to be here.
Well, congratulations on the new position. First off, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background before you came to Cape Cod Child Development?
Absolutely. Well, I want to start off by saying that I've grown up here on the Cape. I've been a Sandwich resident for the last 22 years. And professionally, I have about a 26-year career, primarily in the healthcare and financial services arena, and most recently with South Coast Health Systems out of New Bedford, Mass., which is a healthcare organization that provides services to the New Bedford, Charlton, Wareham area, so southeastern Massachusetts. They have roughly about 7,200 employees and 3 acute care hospitals, as well as about 50 entities across the southeast region. So prior to that, I spent years in both the for-profit and not-for-profit world and a number of financial services organizations, as well as healthcare, consumer products, and insurance.
And what has brought you to this point in your career, being the new CEO of Cape Cod Child Development?
Well, that's a great question. After moving forward from my last position, I had an opportunity to take some time off, which was really wonderful, and think through what my next career move might be. And I had a list of opportunities that I was considering. And one of them was to track over to the CEO role in a nonprofit such as Cape Cod Child Development. And so it has been a goal of mine throughout my career. And so I was very, very excited when I was approached by Cape Cod Child Development in late December to consider this opportunity.
What appeals to you most about Cape Cod Child Development?
Well, that's an easy question. So what appeals to me most is the great child and family advocacy that Cape Cod Child Development is known for. We are a best practice organization, the premier provider of child care and family services across Cape and the islands. I'm a mom. I have 2 daughters, 13 and almost 17, and I feel very passionately about helping all of the children and the families on Cape Cod as best we can as a community.
Digging into Cape Cod Child Development a little bit, tell us a little bit about some of the programs for our listeners that may not know much about the organization.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I want to start off by saying we have been in business as an organization for over 44 years. We touch, on average, every year, more than 2,500 families. We provide early intervention services for over 800 children per year. And early intervention, for those of your listeners who may not know what early intervention is a program that is focused around helping children with developmental challenges of any type. We also offer preschool and Head Start programs across the Cape and Islands, serving roughly 350 children per year. In addition to that, we have a number of programs for school-age children. So in addition, we have 3 school-age programs across the Cape in Hyannis, West Yarmouth, and Falmouth, where we serve approximately 145 children ages 5 to 12 that are currently enrolled in the program. Beyond that, we work with 30 licensed home-based child care providers who care for infants that are 4 weeks through school age. So we provide support in curriculum development, training, licensing, and field questions that may arise from those family homes.
And you've been in the position for about 6 weeks so far. What are you hoping to bring from what you've seen so far at Cape Cod Child Development?
Well, it's very clear that as the board considered candidates for this role, that there is a very strong intent to take the great work that we have done as an organization over the many years that we've been in business, and we are best in class and have numerous accreditations and in all of our programs, really. And the intent on the part of the board is to really move Cape Cod Child Development much more into a visible position within the community, to move Cape Cod Child Development into a position where we're able to grow our programs. So, for example, right now, we are dependent on roughly 80% of our revenue coming in from state, federal, and town funding sources. And we know that that's not sustainable over the course of time, that we really have to build and grow our programs and bring in different revenue streams in order to support and provide even the programs that we're providing today. But there is so much opportunity on the Cape and Islands in so many different ways in terms of family advocacy and helping our children out that the opportunities in some ways seem almost unlimited. And so we are looking to collaborate with our other nonprofit partners here on the Cape and Islands to try to move forward some of the larger community challenges that face us.
Your predecessor, Mary Pat Messmer, was CEO for Cape Cod Child Development for about 19 years before she left. Tell us a little bit about what kind of foundation she's left for you to build on for Cape Cod Child Development.
Absolutely, and I certainly want to publicly thank Mary Pat. She did an amazing job. I was able to walk into my role with very few operational challenges, if any, and no programmatic challenges. Thanks to Mary Pat, her leadership was amazing in so many respects. And what that does is it really provides me with an opportunity to take an organization that's in very, very good shape and has best practice reputation in all of our programs and move it to the next level and really get out there and be visible and take the organization to the next level rather than focusing on operational challenges or even programmatic challenges. So she, under her leadership, did an amazing job over the 19 years that she served the organization, and what a wonderful contributor, and has really set the agency up for the next steps.
In February, Cape Cod Child Development received a $2,500 grant from Rockland Trust Foundation for school-aged children and programs. How important is it to receive grants like this for new or continuing programs?
It is absolutely critical. We are an $11 million organization, and like I mentioned earlier, 80% funded through public sources. We receive approximately $500,000 in grants and unrestricted funds. Roughly $100,000 of that is unrestricted. The remaining are grants, such as the one that you just mentioned. So we are heavily dependent on grants and grant opportunities. We work with many organizations and foundations to enhance and to develop those relationships so that those grants continue to come in and grow over the course of years. So critically important. And in fact, you will, your listeners and hopefully the Cape Cod community will see a pretty significant focus on development and philanthropy efforts over the coming years, because an organization of our size, in order to sustain the great services that we provide and to take those programs a little further or a lot further, we need additional funding. So the grants are very, very critical to our success and will continue to be so.
I'm Justin Saunders, and this is Sunday Journal. I'm talking with the new CEO for Cape Cod Child Development, Ann Colwell. And tell us a little bit about how important volunteers are to Cape Cod Child Development.
Well, volunteers are wonderful in any organization, and in our organization it's particularly lovely to see volunteers help out in so many different ways, whether it's through our food pantry, whether it's through helping in any one of our programs with school-age children or with the preschool children. We have a lot of volunteers who come in and read to our children. We have a number of retired folks who come in and read to our children on a regular basis, and we have volunteers that contribute throughout our entire organization. And I have to say, they are just a wonderful, positive, terrific force within our world and within our organization, and we could not survive without them. And certainly the quality of the experience for the children, although we have a strong curriculum and we have programs in place for the children, to see the joy on their faces as our volunteers come in to help them with crafts or to read or to take them out to the playground and play is just amazing to watch, and to see the children's faces light up. And that's where the great beauty comes in. But volunteers are a very special part of our world at Cape Cod Child Development.
What sets Cape Cod Child Development apart from other programs or institutions on the Cape?
Well, I would say that we are one of many wonderful organizations on the Cape. So I first want to recognize that we live in a community that has a tremendous amount of support from the community, from the federal and state and town governments. And so our agency, is very, very fortunate to have many partners in our community that we work with and we seek to partner with in a stronger, more collaborative manner. What sets us apart? Well, I would certainly say that our standards based on the Head Start programs, which are the federally regulated requirements for the preschool program that we have, helps us set a higher level of criteria for programs that we provide to children. So, for example, the curriculum is a very high-level curriculum in terms of having these preschool children prepared to enter kindergarten in the public school system. So the extent of the learning that takes place in our preschool programs tends to be of a higher learning level, and the success rate overall tends to be quite significant. So by the time they enter kindergarten, they are, on average, better prepared than most children. So very, very happy to report that. I would also say that our early intervention services are just phenomenal. And when we have received several accreditations, we are considered best practice across the state. We are at the table with the legislators. We are in Boston. We have many staff members who have written many of the protocols over the years for early intervention. So the ability to provide that high-level early intervention service opportunities is really sets us apart as well. So we are certainly the premier early intervention and specialists in the Cape and Islands as well.
Also on the website for Cape Cod Child Development, there's information about having the public donate money to Cape Cod Child Development as well, too. How can they donate, and where does the money go?
Well, I will say that the first thing that they can do is to visit our donation page on our website and join with our legion of wonderful local donors. I would also say that we have many local fundraisers throughout the course of the year. So there's a fundraiser coming up on May 31st at Embargo in Hyannis with the owners David and Marissa Noble, who have graciously agreed to host the third annual Bloody Mary Mix-Off to benefit our early intervention program. Dave and Marissa's son have benefited from our early intervention autism program, so they have been wonderful. I would also say that to like us on Facebook and share the good news with what's happening across our agency. We also have an event that will take place in May, and it's the Ben & Jerry's second annual Pro Term Disc Golf Tournament. And if you're interested in that, you can certainly visit our website, and the details are all on the website. So a very fun event that appeals to all ages within a family. So hopefully many people will be interested in that.
For parents that want to know more information about enrolling their child, where can they go? Who can they call? Also, is there a fee? Is it free? Or do they have to meet any sort of income qualifications?
Well, I would certainly say the first step would be to call our enrollment office at 508-775-6240, or a parent could go to our website, which is cccdp.org. In terms of the pricing, it depends on the program, quite frankly. So our early intervention program is not an income-based program, so that is paid for through the insurance programs that the parents would participate in. We do have a number of free programs that are offered depending on the program. So, for example, the preschool programs primarily are paid for via federal funding or through the state funding sources as well. We also have some sliding fee situations with students, and we have some self-pay situations. We run a number of programs that are parent support types of programs. I don't think I've spoken to this earlier, where we have a lot of programs that's called our Fun program, where we have lots of activities and educational opportunities for mothers, fathers, grandparents, and children in terms of education and literacy and support groups and those types of things. And those range in terms of we have some that are free and some that are pay per program.
And looking ahead, what are you looking forward to most, and what goals do you have for Cape Cod Child Development to accomplish?
What I'm looking forward to most is seeing the organization grow in different directions, building upon the great work that's been done, but really growing it to a new level where we're providing more services to more children. We have, as many people know, as I'm sure many of your listeners know, we have so many challenges with poverty-level children here on the Cape, and I think it's an important topic for all of us to be talking about, whether it's opiate addiction and the impact on families, whether it's housing, whether it's food, whether it's childcare, whether it's medical services. There are so many challenges that face these economically disadvantaged families that I would like to think that Cape Cod Child Development can play a very strong advocacy role. We already have, but I'd like to believe that there's a lot more that we can do to try to break the cycle of poverty, to create environments where our children feel safe and secure, and that when they go home, there are living conditions that are at a minimum adequate and hopefully more than adequate, and that they always have food on their table. And so there are so many challenges. I know I'm looking forward to moving ahead from an advocacy standpoint in ways that we can genuinely help families break out of this cycle of poverty, can improve their living conditions, perhaps get an education and move forward in a way that they hadn't anticipated. And as a result of all of that, our children in our community will benefit greatly and will move out of that cycle of poverty. Cape Cod Child Development obviously is much more than an organization that provides services to economically disadvantaged children. Many of our programs are not income-based. But when I think about challenges that our community is facing presently and what my role or the role of Cape Cod Child Development could be in moving that forward, I think that we have a significant opportunity to help the community move forward.
Well, Ann, we only have a couple minutes left. Is there anything that you'd like to add that we haven't touched upon yet?
Yes, just a couple things, if you don't mind. The first is I don't think I've talked about our teen parenting program. We have a wonderful program that supports pregnant teenagers in all capacities, so I think it's very important to note that. I also want to point out that a lot of our work is truly focused on partnering with parents. A lot of our work, whether it's through early intervention or the preschool Head Start programs, our services can be home-based. And so we are in the homes helping parents and supporting parents from a home-based model as well as the center-based model. This is also, by the way, the 50th anniversary of Head Start. So a very exciting year federally and certainly here on Cape Cod as we seek to celebrate that 50th anniversary. And very excited and hope that we have another 50 years with Head Start funding and Head Start programming. For parents that are listening today, I really want to emphasize, particularly with the early intervention and potential developmental concerns or needs, for any parents that are listening who might have a concern regarding their infant or toddler's development, I just want to point out that you can call and get an assessment if you're concerned. And we encourage you to do a couple of things. First of all, follow your instincts. And the earlier, the better. So the earlier a child is put into services, the greater the impact on their long-term progress. So very, very important. And to remember that the brain is in an important developmental phase at those early ages. And in many cases, especially with early intervention, when you follow your instincts and you have an assessment done with an infant, in fact, in many times, we put your mind at ease and we say, everything's okay. And that's an important consideration as well. If you have any concerns as a parent, it's always best to get the assessment, even if it's just to give you some peace of mind. So that's a good thing. I also you mentioned Rockland's Trust a little while ago. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention, more generally speaking, well, actually more specifically, so many of our donors, and to thank our donors, we have Batello's Lumber that holds a golf tournament each year that benefits our organization. We have many relationships, and we've had many grant opportunities from the United Way of Cape Cod and Islands, BJ's National Grid, the Cape Cod Foundation, and Woods Hole Foundation. That's just to name a few. So we have many local donors. We have many local businesses that support our organization. So in summary, I guess I will say it's been a pleasure to be here today. I am so honored and pleased to be the new CEO of Cape Cod Child Development. I see an amazing organization with incredible ties to the community, doing wonderful work across our communities. We, by the way, service the Cape and Islands, so that's also important to point out that we offer services on the islands as well. And I'm looking forward to our strategic planning process in the agency to really identify what the gaps are and from a community standpoint relative to child and family advocacy and where we're going to go as an organization with our other nonprofit partners.
Unfortunately, we're out of time. Thank you, Ann Colwell, for being with me here on the show today.
Thank you, Justin.
I'm Justin Saunders, and this is Sunday Journal.
This podcast is a presentation of Cape Cod Broadcasting, which is solely responsible for its content. Thank you for listening. For more information, please visit us at capecodbroadcasting.com.